Three major events happened this past weekend in terms of Sumabato SP50, Regen 2024, and Delta 8.5, and I wanted to talk about the general results for all of them. I know I've been out of it, I didn't talk about Supernova, but that's because I had COVID, but I feel a lot better now. So I wanted to talk about the relevant things right now, and then I will go back to Supernova in my next couple videos. So let's go from the smallest point total to the biggest. There will be timestamps down below for what tournaments I'm talking about, and obviously spoilers for the results of these tournaments. So Delta 8.5 was right over that major cutoff with 3,005 points, and we see Shutone win his first major of the season. There honestly have only been 5 majors this season from the Lumirank TTS, the 2 premieres in terms of Supernova and Kowloon with Kagedibi, and then the 3 majors that happened this past weekend. So that's it, and Shutone is now one of the winners of these majors this season with a very dominant run. Apparently he only lost 1 game, which is very, very close to a perfect tournament, especially considering the difficulty of Shutone's run, having to beat Reno and Ken, as well as other players here in the top 48. Yeah, Uame's Olimar. The only game he lost was to Ken Banga's Kazuya, and if I'm misreading that hiragana, whoops, I apologize. But then beating Uame 3-0, beating the top 8, and then his pool, I'm assuming, was fairly easy for him. So congrats to Shutone for winning that this major, Delta 8.5. Ken got second, obviously one of the best Sonic players in the world, so we all know that to be true. Reno with a crazy run to third with Byleth and Sephiroth primarily. Honestly incredible, considering I know that a lot of people in the US don't think either of those characters are good. Like, I think Byleth is pretty good, but I don't think Sephiroth is very good. But he beat Mao's Min Min. Okay, it was with Sephiroth. I thought he won a game with Byleth. I'm like, that matchup seems impossible. But yeah, winning with Sephiroth there, beating Ike's Peach, and then in the top 8 after losing, he beat Mao again, so double eliminated him, and then beat Motsunabe's Falco 3-1. A lot of Lumirank players here, a lot of top 50 players, and he was still able to come out on top to be third. You know, not fully on top, but still. Motsunabe with a 4th place finish is going to be quite strong. 5th was a tie between Yamanakshin and Mao's Min Min. Again, Mao getting double eliminated by Reno, and then Uame ended up getting back to 7th, which is again the Olimar that I talked about Tadako Tori beating, and that's again crazy to me. Like, Tadako Tori literally beat 3 people who got top 8 at this major with Little Mac at a local. If you haven't seen that video, it's going to be in the card up above over there. But so honestly, insane. And then Akaki Kusu also, you know, made top 8. I didn't realize he played Game & Watch, so that's interesting. Good secondary choice. And yeah, that is going to close out the top 8. But of course, in that top 48, we still had good people. We had Goryoka here. We had Yuzu's Rosa. Yuzu's Rosa actually was one of the people that beat Meister because Meister was here. Yeah, Meister was here, and he got sent into losers by Yuzu in that pool because Rosa Game & Watch is pretty rough for Game & Watch, one of his worst matchups. And then Meister did end up making quite a long losers run, and then ended up losing to Mao's Min Min, which is going to be something we see also a bit later with Meister fighting these Min Min players. But yeah, Mao had an incredible run. So many good players here. Yuzu getting 9th is also very, very impressive. We had Fui's Yoshi getting pretty far. Ike's Peach got 9th. There was a Mii Brawler. Do you know? Hey? Don't know who that is, but Mii Brawler, baby, let's go. But yeah, just solid, low point total major, but still very, very impressive. But let's go to our second tournament. We're going to the UK in Regen 2024. We had another champion return to glory, Gluto, the overall king of Europe, even though he's not technically ranked the #1 player right now, won Regen 2024 fairly dominantly over MK Leo in a close set with Crepe Soleil, who is someone that has had Gluttony's number recently. Gluttony, of course, did not have a good season last season, but that is because he was trying to switch controllers for his hand issues, and this tournament he said, you know what, screw this, I'm going back to GameCube controller, and you could see it in his play. A lot more comfortable, a lot more fluid movement, and he was able to beat so many top players. We see here he beat MK Leo twice and Crepe Soleil 3-2, but then to make it there, he had to beat Shanique, who was someone that made a ton of upsets. Honestly, let's talk about Shanique really quick because they had an incredible amount of upsets. Shanique literally beat Siski and Mezcal 3-0 and 3-1, which are 2 of the top players in Europe, obviously. You know, with Inkling, which is honestly crazy. We did have another Inkling rep in space in that top 8. But yeah, honestly, insane double upset back to back. But Gluttony still had to beat Quality's Olimar, which is obviously going to be a rough matchup for any European, as well as Neuros's Pikachu, who upset Super Semi, and then had that upset into, or having to fight Shanique, and then the top 8 we already saw. Speaking of that top 8, we do have MK Leo getting second at a major, which is always nice. It's nice to see Leo come back. I mean, he did very well this tournament. He beat Space, he lost to Gluto twice, he beat Big Boss dominantly. He's so good at that Joker, or that Rob match. matchup. But then MKLeo also, you know, beating Lugi a little bit more dominantly than the Supernova set, because that was a comeback from Leo. But Lugi, still an incredible player, did overall very well here. We had Space also make top 8. Sorry, I guess let's go down here. Big Boss getting 3rd. He had quite the long losers run as far as I'm aware. Actually, no, he lost in winners quarterfinals to Crepsile, which again makes sense. Crepsile is amazing, ranked number 1 in Europe for a reason. After losing to Crepsile, Big Boss beat Lancelot to make that top 8, but then beat everyone in that top 8, solos Rosalina and Luma. We've seen a lot of Rosa today already, beating, so 3-0 there, 3-0 versus Space, and 3-2 versus Tarek to make it to that losers finals, where again, Leo, not gonna really lose to Rob players, he's simply too good at that matchup. We had Tarek get 4th, who had to reverse 3-0 twice in this top 8, which was honestly insane, having to reverse 3-0 Mezcal's Ridley, and as well as reverse 3-0 in Crepsile's Wario. Crepsile didn't go Steve here. Tarek has had good success versus the Steve players, beating Akola at one of the pre-locals at Supernova, beating Onin multiple times, so it makes sense that Tarek went Greninja here. Crepsile also getting 5th here, as well as Space, so again, just continuing their good placements in Europe for both of those players, both very, very high-ranking players. And then at the 7th place, we had Mezcal and Solo's Rosalina. Obviously, not a lot of Rosa players have made top 8 at Majors, Dabuz being the main one. Solo now ranks up in that, you know, area, which is very impressive, and Mezcal being the first Ridley to top 8 at Majors since Nair did it, like, a long time ago, but also Nair plays a hero as well, so this might be the first solo Ridley top 8 in who knows how long. And Mezcal had to beat Lugi and Pharaoh to get there in losers, which was very, very impressive. Tarek had to beat Siski to make that top 8. As I mentioned, Big Boss had to beat Lancelot, and Solo ended the upset runs of Shanique to make that top 8. Honestly, Shanique was just so impressive with those upsets. It's one of the biggest stories of the entire tournament, and that's honestly going to be the main story. So let us go to our highest ranked or highest tier tournament in Sumabato SP50. Raru has now won yet another major with Solo Luigi, and Doramigi got 2nd. We love this rivalry here on this channel. Very, very impressive to see both these players so consistently up here. Raru making quite the run, beating Hurt 3-1, which is kind of crazy because that matchup seems so bad. Then you had him beat Doramigi in grand finals. You also had him beat Doramigi in winner semis. So I think Raru coming ahead of Doramigi now in that set count, or maybe it's like even now. It's either like even or +1 for one of them. I'm not 100% sure. Doramigi getting 2nd, beating Raru in grand finals, but losing, beating Hurt 3-2, Meister 3-2. Again, Meister also here. He's been in Japan for like a week now. I think he's going to be in Japan for a couple months, so we're going to see him at these Japanese tournaments. But getting, you know, top 8 here, so congrats to Meister, but I'll cover his run a little bit later. Yeah, Doramigi made it to winner semis and then beat Karaage and Meister before, or sorry, and Hurt before losing to Raru in set 2 of grand finals. Let's see who else they beat. Raru beat Rakusu, which I guess that's Lux or Lax. That might be the Crom. I'm not 100% sure, they didn't show the character data, as well as beating Masa's Falco 3-2, as well as winning the Luigi Ditto versus Ogato. So again, good stuff to Raru there. Doramigi beat Meister. Oh, he actually double eliminated Meister. I didn't know that. So double eliminating Meister, you see him win that winner's quarters match, as well as beating Rizeasu, as well as beating Yamadi. So again, Doramigi with that crazy run. Hurt made it all the way to winners finals, beating Navy's Luigi 3-2. Actually, double Luigi in top 8 winners is honestly crazy. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, Hurt beating Navy, losing to Raru and Doramigi, but let's see who he beat before. He beat Karaage's Falcon, as well as Iba, I don't know who that is, as well as Masamon, which again, I don't know who that is. So Hurt seems like had a relatively easy bracket. Again, maybe I just don't know these players and they're amazing. I mean, I'm assuming they are quite good, but you know, beating Karaage's Falcon here is the first person I recognize. Then Navy's Luigi, who was the 2nd best Luigi in Japan, and then what a weird bracket. Could you imagine having to fight Luigi twice in a row, just period, but not even that, but in winner semis and winners finals of a tournament? Insane. Meister with the 4th place, beating Dio's Snake, Goryoka's Joker, losing to Doramigi, beating Daki, who I know Daki, but I forget who they play at the moment, but the Daki did upset Snow. Oh, I think that's actually another Luigi player. That's crazy. There are so many Luigis here. So beating Daki gave him top 8, where then Meister beat Oh, right, the Piranha Plant. There was a Piranha Plant that made top 8. I forgot about that. Looks like their name is Tasu. So I'm going to actually be checking out that Piranha Plant because I think this is the first time in a long time that Piranha Plant got top 8 at a major. And then beating Navy's Luigi before losing to Dora Migi Game 5, Karaage beat Level 1, who again made another top 8. Level 1 very consistent before losing to Karaage. Before losing to Dora Migi, Karaage in losers. Let's see who they beat, because I know they lost to Hurt, but they beat Yone P to, gatekeep this Pichu from getting top 8. Again, we had a lot of good players here. We had Masa, we had Jogibu, we had Niseyasu, we had Gorioka, Shinji's a funny name. Again, level 1, Ashimo was here as well. Ashimo, I know, got upset by that plant player, and also they beat Rarikusu. So these are probably, if these were both streamed, these are probably going to be 2 sets that I watch from Tasu, because I want to watch an interesting character. But again, let me know who else you want me to watch, and then rounding that top 8, level 1 in Tasu. So again, great stuff to both. I'm actually going to look at Navy's run, because getting top 8 winners is kind of crazy. So Navy beat Futari no Kiwami A, as well as beating Snow, so Snow getting double eliminated by Luigi, as well as beating Seika 3-1. So again, not an easy run there. A lot of good players. I mean, Snow, a crazy good player, right? Beat Sonics at Supernova, so we know they are very, very impressive. And yeah, that is going to be about it for this video. Let me know what sets you want me to watch from all of those 3. Again, I will also be doing Supernova stuff, but I know I'm already behind, so I felt like I wanted to do the super, right now, relevant stuff first before I went to back to Supernova, because I know a lot of people have already covered that, but I will at least especially talk about my experience there. As always, social media, Stride and Partner stuff is down below, and I will see you all next time. Peace.